Hey guys, welcome back to yet another weekly Toon update. As always, I'll be covering everything Newcastle related over the past week. So after a disappointing 4-0 loss against Leicester and then last night's Liverpool defeat, what does the future hold for us? Let's talk about it. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. First up, let's talk about how Eddie Howe is getting on. So, despite our lack of wins, I wanted to discuss just how he's been working on bringing the best out of players who are lacking confidence or were stuck in a rut prior to his appointment. So first up, Jamal Lewis. Now this week he praised Eddie Howe's work on Tyneside and he said that his style fits him perfectly, and as you'll remember, Jamal had only played 6 minutes under Steve Bruce before his departure in October, and then thanks to Howe's arrival, Jamal Lewis has seen a considerable increase in playing time. He's been occupying Matt Ritchie's spot back at the left, and I do think he's done very good since he came in, actually. Sadly, it looks like he is ruled out for a while due to the hamstring injury that he picked up last night, but it was looking good for him. Next up, let's talk about Joe Willock. So I'd say he's definitely one of the lads who's lacking confidence right now. Like I mentioned last week, he's been on Tyneside for almost a year now, and I just hope he's able to find that goal-scoring form he had on arrival earlier this year. And Eddie Howe, he said that he still hasn't seen the best out of Joe Willock yet, but he is confident that through the season he'll get better and better. If Howe is the man to help these kinds of players out of a rut, then I would love to see it. Maybe Willock, he does indeed need more time. Another player, if you just look at the new and improved John Joe Shelvey since Howe came on board, I think it really shows how effective that intense training is for a squad who are now being steered in a new direction to play attacking football. Yes, Shelvey makes the odd mistake here and there, but early on, Howe actually publicly acknowledged Shelvey's importance to the squad, and so far, I really like what I've seen from Shelvey on the pitch. We just need him to be performing consistently now. I think Joe Linton, he's another one too. Who else do you think has improved since Howe has come on board? Comment below, let's talk about it. Next up, let's talk about the FA Cup again. So, the poor start of our Premier League season, of course, it doesn't help for the overall morale of the squad, that's for sure. And we discussed last week, the FA Cup is just around the corner. We're going to be facing League One side Cambridge United. Eddie Howe said this week that although we're in a relegation battle, he still wants to perform well in the FA Cup because he considers it a good option to boost the squad and give playing time to those who need it. I think the FA Cup is, a good opportunity for us to redeem ourselves and show what we're capable of with our set of players. I just hope we remain injury-free and the players save their energy for the tough task of keeping us up in the Premier League. Let's now talk about recent performances. So, since my last Newcastle update, we have suffered 2 losses against big teams, Leicester and then Liverpool. So starting with the Leicester game, well, it was horrendous, yet another awful defensive display, actually the most humiliating loss since Eddie Howe's arrival. It came in the hands of an out-of-form Leicester City, who've been knocked out of the Europa League and they're going to play the Conference League. If I am honest, the first half actually wasn't that bad. Players like Joe Linton really did battle hard. The second half though, it was terrible. And that controversial decision from Peter Banks, it made us concede the first from a penalty. It was one of those baffling moments, like what is the point in VAR again? Questionable decision there. Anyways, as I said, the second half just continued to go down the pan. We conceded 3, 2 of those came in the last 10 minutes of the game. There's clearly still a lot of work to do to save us from relegation. Yet another loss and another match where defensively we were awful. So now let's talk about the Liverpool game. So when the game ended, I was just incredibly frustrated. Shelvey's brilliant opener, it gave us the perfect start, but against a team like Liverpool, they don't miss their chances, and some individual errors cost us. Let's not even get started on those crucial calls that also went against us. Look, overall, yes, there were good spells, but it wasn't enough. Dubravka, he faced 23 shots overall. So now let's see how Eddie Howe prepares the lads ahead of Man City on Sunday. Do let me know your thoughts on this week's defeats. Comment below. For me, really, I guess the conclusion from both these matches is the same. We need to start defending well. If we don't, we're out. Alright, now moving on from performances, let's focus on what we are all looking forward to. January transfers. So as mentioned last week, Trippier and Lingard were rumoured with a move to St James's Park, and this week there seems to be developments on that front. Well, not really developments as such, but more insight on their current situations. So with Trippier, he seems to be unhappy in Madrid and he's definitely looking to return to England. With Jesse Lingard, on the other hand, he's in the same scenario as last season at this point in the season, so he's looking for minutes after playing less and less with Manchester United. A new rumour has appeared, and yes, it's finally a rumour about a centre-back. Wolves captain and England international Conor Cody could be making a mid-season move to Tyneside. I've also read reports on Newcastle's interest in Burnley defender Ben Mee. There was also a story on Greek international Konstantinos Mavropanos, and he's on loan from Arsenal right now with Stuttgart, and he appears to be thriving in Germany, so quite interesting. There were more reports that have done the rounds on Aaron Ramsey. I've spoken about him at length, so I'll link the video on him above. I also read about Brest midfielder Romain Favour and Mohamed El Neni as well. A lot of names. So which signings would actually fix our problems? And more importantly, which signing would actually come on board with the huge risk of relegation? I don't see the high-profile names taking a risk like that. What do you guys reckon? What do you think is the most realistic signing that you've read about this week? 2 weeks until January. I'm anxious already about following our transfer updates. Now let's talk injuries. So as we saw at the Liverpool game, 2 big injuries occurred. Jamal Lewis, who we talked about previously, and also Alan Saint-Maximin, he left the pitch earlier than expected. So Jamal appears to have had some sort of hamstring issues, and we're actually waiting for any further news on that. But Howe did describe his injury as bad. And regarding Alan Saint-Maximin, we are waiting an update there as well, but Eddie Howe did say that Maxi picked up a muscular injury and he took a really nasty tackle. We saw how he hobbled off, so I am concerned. Not only that, but Fede Fernandez, who actually returned last week, has suffered a setback from the injury he was suffering, and he'll likely miss all matches until next year. He posted on his Instagram some insight into that recovery, and he confirmed he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I do think fatigue is hitting our players. It's a really hectic period, and as much as I can criticise our defensive errors, I can't question some of our players' work rates. I hope Sunday doesn't bring any more injuries, and honestly, I'm surprised that none of our games have been postponed yet, given how the rest of the matches recently have been postponed because of COVID outbreaks. Well, that's all for today's Newcastle update. What are your thoughts on the past week? How are you feeling going into the January transfer window? Also, what are your expectations ahead of the big Man City game? Do comment below. I always love hearing your thoughts. This video was brought to you by Kit Bag, so check out their Newcastle collection on the link below, and I've also left you a discount code. Subscribe to my channel for more football content, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye for now.